So welcome back to Texas Car Dads, and here we are in part 2 with the legend himself, Mr. Ben Keating. And now we're going to get like a MTV Cribs style tour of his personal collection.
Shall we just start here and go around?
Sure, let's do it.
So this is the 1998 GTSR, one of 100, to commemorate when Chrysler won the GT2 World Championship. Big deal. I like that photo behind it of the Vipers at Le Mans. This is the same photo right next to it that I have at the office with Bob and I. As I mentioned at the office in part 1, I won this car on a raffle. This is the winning raffle ticket right here. This is the promotion of selling the raffle tickets. This is an old 1998 article about the car. Every one that was produced came with, numbered lithographs and photos of the drivers and all of that. So, this is 99 out of 100 of all the Le Mans winning drivers, 99 out of 100 of all the lithographs there. And Bob was well known not only as being the president of Chrysler, but for having the Michigan license plate that read GTSR.
Yeah.
And so I think it's fun to have that as well. There was an article about me going to Michigan, pick up the car. This is that article. It also included of me going on a flight with Bob. He was a Marine fighter pilot and he owns a jet. And so it included me going on that flight with him, which was crazy. I love this car and everything that it is and everything that it isn't. By today's standards, it's not crazy by any means, just fun to start it up and drive it. It's a pretty good segue over into this car. This was owned by the president of Chrysler in the mid-90s. This car was owned by Ralph Gilles, who happened to be, president of Dodge and SRT in the mid-2010s. Before that, he was the chief designer. And so he designed the Gen 4 ACR. This is a 2008 ACR. It's the very first ACR that was ever built in the Gen 4 ACR.
That's awesome.
And because Ralph was the designer of the car, he designed a unique paint scheme that didn't exist on the factory line. The way it used to look way back when. So this picture is Ralph with his car.
Right.
But it was a black car with a dark gray stripe. And there's a plaque on the dash there that reads, specifically built for Ralph Gilles, ACR number 1 in 2008. Everybody wanted one like this, but Ralph was the only one that could do it. And so you couldn't get it like this. At the same time, I got a text from Ralph saying, I want to buy an SRT4 Neon for my nephew. Would you take my Viper on trade? And so I can honestly say that I took this car on trade for an SRT4 Neon.
Which, I don't know, that boggles my mind, the fact that this is not only the first one, but the only one.
That's right.
And you took it on a trade for a Neon.
Well, I gave them a lot of money for it. I can also say that I paid more than anybody else was willing to pay at the time.
Probably, yeah.
However, Ralph was already working on the Gen 5. He knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And he got top dollar for this while he could. But the interesting thing about that is that Ralph is from Haiti, and he had the Michigan license plate that read Voodoo.
Yep.
And so, this is his Michigan license plate that came off of this car. And in 2010, you know, they decided they were going to finally come out with a Voodoo edition. So they came out with 33 examples of this particular style.
Yeah.
And that's when they took it back to the factory. They added the red stripe, the red pinstripes along the driver's stripe, spruced it up a little bit from the way it was originally, and they offered a Voodoo edition of 2010 models, and then again, later on in the Gen 5 ACR, you could do a Voodoo edition. But this is the original 2008 Voodoo that was owned by Ralph way back when. And again, I have a bunch of memorabilia from that Viper magazine's article on the Voodoo, all kinds of stuff on that. But I love this pair. You know, one of my favorite things about this particular car is that when Ralph cleaned it out to send it to me, he forgot to empty the CD player. You know, every time I hop in the car, it's got U2's Rattle and Hum album playing through the CD player, you know, with U2 and B.B. King. And I loved that album. And so that's my favorite thing about driving this car is, you know, cranking up the U2 and B.B. King, courtesy of Ralph Gilles whenever I hop in his old car. This is a 1968 Bronco. It was owned by a gentleman here local to our hometown, and I've been after him to try to buy this car for years and years and years. And he said, man, it was my father's car. Long story short, I also traded for this. It was, you know, saltwater fishing truck. We spent 2 years completely redoing it. It's got the original 302, the original 3 on the tree, manual transmission. It was white top, white grille, with the light blue body. And after I traded for it, after we started redoing it, Ford came out with the Heritage Edition of the 2024 Bronco. And they came out with one that looked almost exactly like it. And so I decided I had to have one. These were not easy to get, and you did not get to pick which color or which version you got. I shouldn't name names. So I had to call up some really big favors with some big brass within Ford Motor Company between my 4 Ford dealerships to be able to make sure I was allocated a 2-door light blue. That's how this one came about. It's a 2024 and it's fun to drive. They both are. A ton of fun to drive. The reason I have it is because it's matching. I wanted it to look as closely to the 2000 or to the 1968 as possible. Normally on this particular model, the fenders and the bumpers, front and back, are all black. I didn't like the way that looked, and so I sent it off to our body shop and had them all painted light blue to match, and I really like how it turned out.
That was a great choice. This looks really, really good.
I'll go up on the wall here. Back in, I think it's around 2013, 2014, I got a random call from Henrik Fisker. This is after he'd done the Fisker car company, doing the EVs, but I mean, super famous designer, the designer of the BMW Z8, the DB9 Aston Martin, super famous designer, calling me on my cell phone out of the blue. And he says, he'd had a meeting with Chrysler. He wants to design an American supercar based on the Viper. Everybody he talks to says, you got to talk to Ben Keating. So I'm calling you to talk to you about it. We were racing the car and we were the #1 volume retailer of the car. And so we were doing a lot of performance development. And so to make a longer story a little bit shorter, I ended up doing a joint venture between myself, Henrik Fisker and Bob Lutz to design an American supercar based on the Viper. And these are images of the design work. The idea is that I would take a brand new Viper, tear it down to a rolling hot chassis, do all the performance work. We did all the engine, exhaust, suspension, brakes, all the performance work on it. And we sent it up to Detroit. They would do the interior and exterior. These are the designs that they originally came out with. It's obviously been tweaked a bunch from these,
right?
But I think these are fun. That ended up becoming a VLF Force One. It took a lot longer to actually produce these cars than what we were promised or what we first thought they would be. And so we were supposed to do a run of 50 of them, and they were supposed to be able to build them in 90 days.
Yeah.
We got our first one 18 months later, and by the time they came in, most people had lost interest.
Yeah.
And so we only ended up building 6 of them. But so this is one of 6, and it is a really, really fun car. It is a Viper underneath there. You know, the title says it's a Viper, but it's quite different, both in performance and appearance.
What is the key differences in, like, performance-wise from a Force One versus like a stock Viper that you would have got the same year?
Factory Viper was 645. This would be 745, and that's done through headwork, cams. You know, basically putting the same stuff that we had on our race car on a street car.
Very cool.
Exhaust. Another racer friend of mine who developed a dynamic suspension, which is a really cool system. It's got dampers on it that will change the settings over 10,000 times per second, depending on what you're dealing with. And and so you can push a button on the dash that will make it smoother and easier, or you can make it, a better track car. Super rigid and more performance oriented. It's got really big Brembo brakes.
Like those are giant 6 pistons in there.
Yeah, a lot bigger brakes than what the factory car came with. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The interior of it is all super well done. I mean, I think VLF did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Back then, having the exposed carbon was a new thing.
Yeah. Redundant on most factory models.
That's right. I kind of feel like at the time, and even still, to a certain extent, because it's got this big bulbous rear end on this car, to me, it reminds me of a modern Daytona coupe.
Yeah. I can totally see that. I would say, and it makes sense that because Fisker is the one who did a lot of the design work. When I first walked in, I forgot you had this, and I looked over and I was like, oh, he's got an Aston now.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it totally makes sense, like why, like my head instinctively went, oh, that's an Aston.
Yeah. So this is I call this the silver bullet. Most everybody that was buying a Viper in 2016, 2017 wanted the ACR. That's the one that's really held its value really, really well. In my opinion, an ACR, it's an amazing track car. You can't find a better track car, but it's a really poor choice for a street car.
Absolutely.
It'll beat you to death.
Yeah.
And so I ordered this car for myself to purchase from the dealership. It's a one of one. I got a silver exterior with a red interior, and I built it to be my driver. I put ACR wheels and tires on it because I like the way they look and they give you a little bit more grip. Just because I don't take it on the track doesn't mean I'm not aggressively driving it.
Right.
If I'm going to the track, I'm taking the GT3 car.
Right.
I don't need an ACR. This is a very stock ZR1. I believe it's a 2010 ZR1. The story behind this one is that when I went to Michigan to pick the raffle winning car from Bob Lutz, at that point in time, he was vice chairman of General Motors. He still loved design, and he had just finished all the design work on the ZR1. And I'm Mr. Viper. I'm going up there. All I want to talk about is the Viper.
Yeah.
He's so excited about this car. All he wants to talk about is the ZR1. Probably don't realize at first glance, but in that photo with Bob and I, there's about 3/4 of an inch of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
The morning that I go to pick it up. And of course, I want him to sign the Viper.
Right.
I mean, it's obligatory. You got to do that.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a silver Sharpie. And so he sent a guy to the store to go buy a silver Sharpie. And he says, okay, while we're waiting on that, you got to drive the ZR1. This is not the kind of car you want to drive in snow conditions.
Yeah.
And so, we went for a drive. His car looked identical to this. The same blue treatment, the same blue calipers. He drove it out and I drove it back. He's like, man, this car is amazing. You need to get one. And I said, well, I am a Chevrolet dealer. However, you have to sell at least, I was a small Chevrolet dealer at the time in Port Lavaca, town of 10,000 people. At the time, you had to sell at least 12 Corvettes a year to be able to be allocated a ZR1. And I said, well, Bob, I sold 8 Corvettes last year, and I don't sell enough to be able to get one allocated to me. And he said, I'll make you a deal. I'll make sure you get allocated one, but you have to keep it in your collection. And I've kept my word for 15 years.
That's awesome.
And so, on the armrest in the middle, the console, he signed it there. I also had him sign the engine cover. I had a little bit of a contentious relationship with my regional manager at the time, arguing about something at that particular time. And I totally enjoyed the phone call that I got. He called me up and says, I don't know who you know, but apparently you're getting a ZR1.
Well, his name's Bob.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal.
In 2023, I raced a Corvette, the last year of the GTE cars.
Yep.
The C8R, I raced the Corvette in the World Endurance Championship. Won the World Championship in the Corvette, won Le Mans in the Corvette. And so I had a lot of people wanting to buy Corvettes from me.
Yeah.
Long list of people that want the allocations. I didn't feel comfortable ordering a car for myself when I had so many other customers that wanted the allocations.
Yeah.
I went to GM after winning the World Championship and said, do you think I could get a VIP allocation so where I'm not taking away from the dealerships, my customers' allocation? And so that's what this is. So this is a 2024, I'm pretty certain, E-Ray. When the E-Ray was fairly new, and I ordered it exactly the way I wanted. It's a hardtop convertible, which I love. Carbon wheels. I love the silver with blue stripes. That's probably my favorite combo on the Viper back in the day.
Yeah.
The 98 GTS. Super impressed with this car. I don't know that there's a better sports car as a daily driver than this. The all-wheel drive aspect of it just makes it a monster when you're going stoplight to stoplight.
And these are this was kind of like the beginning platform for what the ZR1 is now, right? Because you've got
ZR1X.
You've got the electric motor driving the front wheels. You got your gas motor in the back, which the ZR1X also employs.
We haven't seen any of those yet.
Yeah.
I'd hope to get one of those too. Then we have a 2006 Ford GT Heritage Edition. What I would say about this car is that I kept one of the Ford GTs, a white with blue stripes car from our dealerships. All of these cars in the garage, these are all drivers. I have no garage queens. I don't want to collect cars, I want to enjoy cars. And so every time I was driving the Ford GT where I had the car on MSO, I felt guilty. And I'm like, that is BS. I'm not going to feel guilty about using and enjoying a car.
Right.
So I sold that car and I bought this one with 10,000 miles on it already. It's interesting When I had the ability to order the car and I first saw this paint scheme on the catalog, I thought it was ugly and I didn't want it. Then I ended up going to Sebring for a race and I saw one in person and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so it gave me the opportunity to buy one that had a lot of miles on it so that I didn't feel guilty about driving it. And so that's what this is. I really enjoy it. It is a driver's car. It will get you in trouble in a hurry. It takes a long time for those tires to get sticky. I love that you've got this supercharger right behind your head. And it's got that excellent whine anytime you hit the throttle. So this car, I've only had about 3 weeks so far.
Okay.
It is a 1964 Shelby, 289 car, 4-speed. It was owned by a gentleman named Jay Sebring, no relation to the track. But he was a famous hairdresser to all the stars in Hollywood.
Okay.
He owned the car, kept it for a long time. I drove a 427 Cobra at Sebring one time for a customer. Wanted me to drive his car and see what I thought.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I thought that it was way too much motor for not enough car. All you had was lap belts, a thin sheet of aluminum between you and the wall. It did not feel safe. That made my decision that if I ever got one, and I wanted it to be a 289 car, and I have absolutely loved it. It's been a lot of fun. This was bought brand new in 1964 by Jay Sebring.
Okay.
This is the real deal.
Wow.
Matter of fact, come back here, I'll show you something I think is fun. Look how thick all those license plate stickers are.
Oh, that's insane.
On a California plate.
That was probably issued brand new.
I haven't put a dealer plate on it yet. I should. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. The price reflects that as well.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to guess what you paid. I just know what I've seen them for.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Earlier, I talked to you about the 5 different cars at Le Mans in part 1. So those are the 5 cars in the square at Le Mans with my car on the end there. These are all wreaths from, I've got 5 of them going around the garage from podiums at Le Mans.
Yeah.
Those
I remember that livery.
Disaster is what that was. Not only do I have more wreaths here, and man, my suit's looking pretty bad, but this is my suit from the Viper from Le Mans. Here, the reason I love these, it's a Petite Le Mans poster and a Sebring poster, but my AMG is in both of them.
That's awesome.
So when you got your personal car on the poster,
You gotta have it.
You gotta have it.
Yeah.
Memorabilia all over the place. I don't have time to touch on all of it. I have these here in the entry. This is the 2023 LMP2 IMSA Championship Trophy and the 2023 World Endurance Championship Trophy. So both championships in 1 year, pretty cool year.
Yeah.
I have a watercolor artist who loves to paint my cars. So I have 3 of them here, 3 of them here, in here, all kinds of crazy stuff. These are the 5 bottles from the podiums at Le Mans. That's a cool photo of us spraying champagne when we won Petite Le Mans in the Viper. I mentioned in part 1 that the North American Endurance Cup is my favorite trophy.
Yeah.
That's what this is. I think you should pick it up and show it to the camera.
Yeah. I'm scared.
You just grab it right here.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay, that's a sturdy piece of metal.
It's solid bronze.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but It is, it's heavy.
Yeah. No, I'm going to let you do that. I would be afraid of dropping that.
But it's my favorite trophy in racing. I just think it's cool as can be.
That is awesome.
You got Daytona, Sebring, Watkins Glen, and Road Atlanta all the way around it. We won it 3 years in a row with the AMG, and then I won it 2 years in a row in the LMP2. Those are those trophies. And then, golly, I've got, it's crazy to look at, all of this stuff that we've done through the years. This was the World Endurance Championship in 22. This is the IMSA Championship in 21. The Daytona win in 2015. These are the Le Mans wins in 22 and 23. These are all wins at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's all over. Sebring, Indy 8-hour, Petit Le Mans. You kind of go on and on.
It's an achievement that you remember all of them.
Well, that's why they've got plaques.
Did you see the picture of his Viper in my car?
That's not your car?
No, that's not my car. So I had a 15 C7 for a little bit, and
Did you have it wrapped to match?
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I talked about it earlier, but the advantage of Bill Riley building all the cars is that you can get him to print out a schematic
Nice.
of your car for you. This is a trophy from Petit Le Mans 2015. When you won that race, you got a guitar. A bunch of the models of the various cars I've raced through the years. I didn't show it to you down there, but Patrick Dempsey was the director of the movie The Art of Racing in the Rain. I happened to be one of the stunt drivers.
Nice.
In that movie. I get a check from Disney about once a quarter for $17. You go to the parade at Le Mans on Friday before the race and everybody throws stuff. So many people throw wristbands that we started keeping them for the year.
So cool.
And putting them on these wooden wrists.
So the last time I was here, I saw this thing and I was immediately jealous because not only is it a really big humidor, but the fact that it is a Viper humidor is really, really awesome.
That's a Christmas present from my lovely wife.
Nice.
Lots of fun stuff up here, a lot of memorabilia stuff. But this is the Le Mans book from 2019 with our car in the middle. Grassroots Motorsports, winning and losing at Le Mans.
A very appropriate title.
But I am, in some form or another, there's a story about us. This is all about the 2022 World Championship in Le Mans win. That's 2018 at Le Mans in the Ferrari. Lots of fun memories around up here.
Can we talk about the seat?
Yes. Again, there's a guy at Le Mans who does these, and my wife bought me this for Christmas as well.
Nice.
A different Christmas. You don't really see the photos up here like the way you do when you're down there.
Yeah.
But that's the Le Mans win in the GT. That is obviously, you got the Le Mans road sign,
right.
But that is the Viper on the straight at Le Mans. That's the Viper taking the start at Le Mans. We DNF'd in the Viper at Le Mans when we did our first race there. We had gear that went out the bits. So because you had the transaxle, you could completely change a gear set in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You turned it, pulled it out, put in a new one. But we already had so much metal going through the cooling system that it was just a matter of time. We'd already gone through three gear sets.
Oh, geez.
So we just decided, hey, we're no longer going to win.
Yeah.
Let's call it a day. Looking for fun ways to decorate here, in this fireplace. These are all the gears out of that transmission, and this is the gear that failed.
That's cool.
It's supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
Either 15 or 16, but I won the 11 hours and 58 minutes of Sebring. We were leading on the last lap. We knew that we had a pinhole in our radiator. The completely melted my engine on the last lap while leading the 12 hours of Sebring. This is the engine block out of that particular car. This is where it blew the head gasket.
Oh yeah.
But I wish I had the head, because it was an aluminum head. It looks like it's liquid that's flowing off. But you know, I got Andy Wheeler to make me a table out of that one.
So Ven is not the only one who has blown a motor and turned it into furniture. So we have a buddy. He has a C5 car that he just runs at Coda.
Yeah.
And he turned his LS3 into a sunroof.
Sure.
He kept it and put a glass table on it,
Yeah.
almost the same way.
Why not? So I showed you here earlier, you know, a lot of the models and cars that I have, but what's not very apparent is that this is also a door to. This is where I practice. This is the
Yeah.
simulator, full motion. This is where you make sure that everything is razor sharp before you show up at the track.
This is
All right.
also a really cool picture.
Yeah, that was a fundraiser that Chrysler did, SRT program. All the designers had, you know, they did, you know, Ralph did basically like a contest with all the designers
Yeah.
of, you know, trying to decide what the Gen 5 car was going to look like. Mm-hmm. And I bought several of them. Obviously, the idea behind this one is that he wanted the car to have hips like the female form.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really good picture.
Well, and I think it shows too, like the evolution of really well-designed cars all stems from the same thing. Because if you think about like all the way back to like the early Bugattis, that is essentially how they designed those cars, was off the female form. They wanted it to reminisce that. So Ben, this has been an amazing experience. Again, the cars are awesome, the tour was awesome, but the stories just make it that much better. And I'm glad that we got to come out here, and I'm really thankful that you shared all of this with us. So it was just an amazing experience. I want to thank you again for allowing us to come out here and spend the day with you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Happy to host you.
Again, appreciate everybody who has tuned in and watched these videos. And I just want to say thank you again to not only you guys, but to Ben. And I hope you have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next time.